It's a beautiful Monday morning in the city of Lagos, Southwest Nigeria. My name is Damnola Ogunshakin. Let's move straight to the front pages of the dailies, and I'm starting with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with NLC, TUC, NECA to federal government. Alt fall in naira value asks federal government to take urgent actions to stabilize currency. NLC threatens action to compel government to prioritize rescue of naira economy if TUC blames IMF, World Bank, free fall of naira worrisome. That's coming from NECA. You can see that story on page 5. And here there's a picture showing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany, Olaf, at the presidential villa Abuja during the German leader's visit to Nigeria yesterday. On Financial Vanguard, net foreign exchange inflow falls 54% to $7.29 billion in first half of 2023. You can see that on page 20. Mana, Catholic priest, four others abducted in Zamfara and Taraba. You can see that on page 6. Varsity lecturer killed in Niger. On page 16, Away Lakenfa. I left the assembly convinced that blessed are the human rights defenders, for to them, not the violators, shall history belong. On page 31, Sports 2023 WCQ. Leicester blocked Ndidi from joining Super Eagles. On page 10, Oyo government files appeal against removal of song. Tinubu ACF others mourn as Ohinoi of Ibiraland dies at 95. Stories above on page 8. Minister Foreign Missions roll over return dates. Tinubu to German leader. We want to change weak economy narratives. Special reports. Card reader, server, beavers, and IREF. National Assembly, INEC, Judiciary, and future elections. Fidelity Bank boasts Nigeria's non-oil exports with FITCC Houston. Signs a $40 million deal with Afrexim Bank. John Venter Industries for cocoa export. You can see that on page 9 of Vanguard newspaper. Now let's move to the nation. The nation is leading with business obstacles to go. Tinubu assures investors with Supreme Court verdict, no more distractions. President hosts German Chancellor. NNPCL withhold 13.27 trillion naira from FAAC. NLC threatens boycott of today's review meeting with federal government. Court stops Labour's Occupy Imo plan. And stories above, Naira pressure eases on $10 billion forex inflows products prospects. Explosion rocks Rivers House of Assembly complex. Lastly, on the Nation newspaper, illegal fishing a threat to blue economy. $600 million lost annually. You can see that story on page 21. Now, the Punch newspaper, and here we have ex forex crisis. Labour blames government officials meet federal government today. Politicians' taste for foreign goods pushing Nigeria to disaster. That's coming from NLC. Labour threatens to boycott talk with government if minister attend. Lagos begins demolition of Ikoyi structures near drainage. You can see the stories on pages 2 and 18. Importers return to parallel markets as Naira rebounds. Stories above. Federal government seeks speedy delivery of Turkish attack helicopters. You can see that on page 7. Now, The Guardian. Here it's leading with a wide probe of 11.3 trillion naira refineries maintenance costs with earned futile. You can see that on page 6. Energy challenges undermining Nigeria's development. Tinubu admits the imperative of a good road infrastructure. APC risks losing future polls with questionable candidates, says Dunn. You can see the stories on pages 2, 6, and 3. Stories above. Constitutional for politicians to be INEC Rev. Oshun APC PDP bicker over Adeleke's 100 billion naira infrastructural agenda. Lastly, on the Guardian newspaper, Fidelity Bank signs a $40 million deal with Afrexim Bank, joint venture for cocoa export. You can see that on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Join us after the break as our guest will be analyzing these stories. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Samlola Ogunshakin. Joining me to analyze the front pages of the dailies this morning is Mr. Ali Mohammed. He's the CEO of Magnet Communications, former editor of Daily Times and Concord newspaper. Good morning, Mr. Ali.
Good morning, Damilola. How are you?
I'm very fine. It's a beautiful, hot Monday morning.
Very hot everywhere.
Yes. All right, let's go straight to the stories on the front pages. And we're starting with the story of NLC, TUC, and the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, NECA, as yesterday they raised the alarm over the continued free fall of the naira, asking the federal government to take urgent steps to stabilize the national currency. What do you have to say about this, keeping in mind that our nation is heavily reliant on imports?
Thank you. You just said it all. We are heavily dependent on imports. There is nothing we don't import. Tea, bread, even the things that are produced here are imported by some large pocket Nigerians. The truth of the matter, like I have said it several times, is that we only have petroleum products, not even petroleum products, crude oil to export. And if you look at the volume of crude oil that goes out of Nigeria of late, it has reduced drastically. And the drastic reduction is what is affecting the volume of dollars that we get from crude oil. Coupled with the fact that you export crude oil, you make 10 trillion, and from that 10 trillion, you are importing refined products with about 6 trillion. Does it make any economic sense? No. We have said it times without number that we should repair our refineries. If we have to license private organizations to run modular refineries, let the government do it and do it quickly. That is the norm in any developing country today that is an oil producing country. Nigeria is about the only oil producing country in Africa, and in fact in the world, that don't have functional refineries. For as long as we continue to import fuel, you will need dollars to import fuel. But if you start refining locally, you don't need dollars for anything. You are saving that money that you are earning from the export of crude oil. You are saving that dollars. And in return, it boosts the volume of dollars that we have locally. And we don't have to be sourcing for dollars or taking loans to buy dollar to shore up the rate of the dollar in Nigeria. Secondly, we have to reduce the dollarization, in quotes, of the economy. Even this is happening within government circles. You want to do roads, you are quantifying the costs in dollars. The national currency is naira and kobo. If you have a foreign company that wants to quote for a road contract, that quote should come in naira, not in dollars. We have some of our leaders that don't spend naira, they spend dollars. There is one of them that was building a house years ago. He was paying his artisans in dollars. They'll collect the dollars and go and change it outside. And the report got to the public that so person is paying his artisans with dollars. For as long as we continue to yearn for dollars without ensuring that we have adequate products that can match the generation of dollars from abroad, we will continue to have this problem. You know, we have to, the currency of Nigeria is naira and kobo. Whatever happened to the Chinese monetary policy that Nigerians will be allowed to go to China and trade there with naira, and they can trade there with their currency. Nobody is talking about that. When Nigerians are going to China now, you still see them looking for dollars. So what happened to that bilateral contract signed between Nigeria and China during the Buhari's administration? So we must ensure that locally we take strategic measures that will reduce our dependence on the dollar. They are renovating the 4 refineries that we were using before now. And do you know how they tell us the cost of the renovation? It is in dollars. It is sarcastic that a country with naira and kobo as its national currency will continue to talk about spending $250,000 on a project. It is laughable. We have to, first of all, respect our currency as a nation and base whatever we are doing on that currency. For as long as you continue to dollarize your economy, we will continue to have this problem.
Still talking about this, Deputy President of TUC, Dr. Tommy, he said that the continued free fall of the naira against other currencies is nothing but plots by IMF and the World Bank to continuously impoverish Nigerians. According to him, said they encouraged Nigeria to lift the ban on 43 items restricted from accessing foreign exchange to boost the economy. For instance, he talked about the rice mills. He said, and our local rice, that they were competing well in the market, which were exported to boost the foreign exchange.
You see, I don't have any facts to support this assertion. The Yorubas will say that that you start exhibiting whatever you have, for whatever beauty that you have from your house. If you are not proud of what you have, nobody will be proud of it. You are talking about IMF. Yes, IMF may have its own evil agenda for Africa, but it depends on whether each country in Africa want to accept and embrace that evil agenda. But we have embraced it by our nonchalant attitude for our currency, by our total disrespect for our currency. I keep saying it and I'm asserting it, that most politicians in Nigeria do not spend naira anymore. Look at when they were campaigning. What currency was used to campaign? Dollar now. It was dollar. They didn't use our local currency because they believed that the denominations of the naira would be too big. And the EFCC was there to ensure that there was nothing like money laundering. But it happened because the volume of the naira that you are going to spend, if you want to spend 10 million naira now, all you need to do is $10,000 in 1,000 denomination. That is 10,000 in an envelope. I can give it to you now. Nobody will know. So that is what I mean by the dollarization of our economy. Let us fight theft of our crude oil in the Niger Delta region. If you talk about crude oil theft, who are the people there? You and I cannot buy badges with which they steal crude oil. It is the big boys. It is the armed forces. It is our billionaires that can buy badges. And the government has been unable to stop them. They go there and make money right in the presence of everybody in dollars. And the same dollar you cannot get them in the central bank. Do you know what is happening today in the banks? You want dollars, the bank will tell you that they don't have dollars. But there is a malam waiting within the bank premises to give you the equivalent of what you want in dollars or naira. What kind of economy are we running? What kind of economy are we running if the banks don't have dollars to trade with? Only illiterate malams that can provide dollars for us, then there is a problem somewhere that the government must try and resolve. How do these dollars get to the hands of these malams? There is a leakage within the central bank that is in custody of the dollars that we earn. So we must sort out this problem before we can start blaming IMF for being the cause of the shortage of dollars in our system. I don't agree with that assertion.
All right, but some Nigerians are saying that because Nigerians prefer to buy goods not made in the country, so this is affecting it. But let's talk about the rich or the unrestrained taste of our public officers for products manufactured outside of the country. Let's talk about the SUVs that were recently bought.
I was going to say that
offices. So if this is going on, how do you think this will affect the?
It's one of the problems that we have. There is Costa Rica that produces all forms of jeeps. We have another company right here in Lagos, in Ikeja, that is assembling a brand of vehicle. What is wrong in government patronizing those people? Local products that are made in Nigeria, instead of spending dollars to import. You see, like I said, the Yorubas always have wise words for us for every situation. They said, Ile Latin ko eshorode, that whatever beauty you have, you must start taking it out from your house so that those outside will see it. But we are not doing that. The reverse is the case here. Instead, we want to bring those goods, the beautiful things from abroad, to our home with scarce dollars, scarce resources that we are getting from very, very serious situations that we are supposed to use on some other things. It is unfortunate. We have to sit down and determine whether Nigeria wants to be a truly stable economy or will continue to wobble.
But Mr. according to some people, they believe that these SUVs are just some of the things they need, that these people need to work.
What happened?
They even believe that they are patriotic choices.
What happened to the ones that were used before? They were given out to those senators, Abi. Government vehicles. Then look at it. Something is wrong somewhere. How can you give out over 360 million or is it 36 billion? I don't know how much. The thing is confusing now. How can you give out government vehicles to those who held office before? And so every 4 years, you are going to replace the SUV, and including those that were used by the senators and members of the House of Reps that returned to their position. So each of them will have more than 2. There are some people that have spent 3 consecutive terms in the House of Reps. So they will have 3 SUVs in their custody. Why some people cannot eat, some people cannot pay rent, some people cannot pay for their school fees. Let us sit down and look at all this. We must concentrate our energy on the poor masses of this country. I keep saying this. You saw what happened during NSAS. It was like a joke. It engulfed the whole nation. It was God that saved Nigeria from that. Forget about the police brutality. That the killing of some people, they stopped that riot. It was a riot. It was a demonstration by the people who were tired and fed up with the barbaric and brutal actions of the Nigerian police. So, if we sit down and we think that it can't happen again, I pray it will not happen again. But let us be careful the way we exhibit our wealth in the face of very poor people. Go to the streets and see what happened. You are driving, you press a horn, somebody will just shout at you, and you think you have offended that person. No, the man is frustrated. He is frustrated with everything around him. He can't eat. He doesn't have a kobo in his pocket, and you are warning that he should leave the road. He is ready to die. So we must have a project, not a program now. It's a project for the poor people of this country. You don't exhibit wealth in the midst of poverty. That is what we are doing.
But they said they are distributing money to the poor households.
What?
They are distributing money to the poor
How much
households.
have you been given? How much is the other man being given? No, You see, all these things are jokes. They should give evidence of those who have been paid by this so-called humanitarian ministry. It is a drain pipe. I am telling you, go and do your investigation. You are a journalist, go and do your investigation. Talk to the ordinary man on the road and see how many will confirm to you. How much are you even talking about? 30,000. What will that do in anybody's life? We are talking of the government embarking on projects with which the common man will survive. Ask me what kind of project. In Ogun State, there was this farm settlement in somewhere in that state. Farm settlement means you have graduates, residents in that area. They have a farm which they wake up in the morning, go there to work, and there was this Western Produce Board. They will buy off all their products and government will sell at discounted rate. Both ways, government and those people are making money. We don't have anything like that again. Even what is it now? Fertilizers that they say they distribute these days. You can't get it in the market because it has all been sold out to farmers in other parts of Africa, Niger, Republic of Benin, and some other parts of Africa that share borders with Nigeria. Go out and say you want to buy fertilizer and see if you will get a bag. So those are the things that the common man use to ensure that there is survival at that level. Go to any farmer today and ask that farmer if he's making profits. You'll be shocked by the response. My wife is a vet doctor and she knows what is happening in that industry very, very well. So we are taking things that we should take very seriously for granted in Nigeria. Let us take care of the poor people, for God's sake. We must take care of, either we like it or not, government must have a genuine program. Not all this humanitarian distribution of 25,000 to a man who has not seen 10 naira for 10 years. And you are giving him 25,000. That 25,000 is just like a drop in the ocean. It can't solve any problem. So let us come out with a genuine plan and program for the poor in this country. That the suffering is too much. We can say that, okay, we are fine, we are not suffering like those people. But when there is a revolt, everybody will be affected, the rich and the poor.
Okay, let's talk about the refineries. The Senate last week said 11.35 trillion naira was spent on turnaround maintenance. And they insisted that they will get to the root of the wasteful spending, along with another $592.9 million that others were wasted on the asset in the last 13 years. So do you think this investigation will lead
How much
somewhere?
did you say it is? 19 point something?
11.35 trillion naira.
Naira and then dollars. There is a figure that you call there.
$592.9 million.
That's a Nigerian project. Why must you quantify a Nigerian project in dollars, Damilola? That's what we just said. You are talking about scarcity of dollars, and you are quantifying a Nigerian project in dollars, and that money will actually be paid by government to the contractors in dollars. That should stop. With this kind of spendings, you cannot get to the end of this crisis of stabilizing the economy. Why should we be spending dollars on a project from which you are going to, whatever it is in the international market, you are only going to earn some dollars in the international market. But if you are supplying crude to local refineries, you must earn naira. You can't charge in dollars for the crude you are supplying to local refineries. There is no way that will be done. We should stop. I said it. We must stop dollarizing our economy. We are not helping the country. We are not helping the country at all. So if you now talk about the 95 million or billion dollars, now quantify it in naira. Where do you want to get that? From a country that is bleeding economically. So You see what I just said? We must stop dollarizing this economy. Then concerning the refinery, I said it earlier. If what the refineries are consuming for them to become functional is too heavy, leave it. Sell it to private investors.
But this for 13 years.
Yes, they can sell, because for 13 years they have not been able to refine a pint of crude. What kind of turnaround maintenance is going on? You have a refinery, or you have refineries that employs thousands of Nigerians. They are being paid daily for what those companies are not doing. What kind of investment is that? Yorubas will say, now. They should stop all this. You have been pumping dollars into those refineries, and they have not refined 1 pint of refined petroleum products. And you continue to say that it needs more money for it to be stable. It needs more dollars for it to become to be functional. What kind of system are we running? It is painful. If I am a businessman and I keep pouring money on a business that is not yielding 1 naira, will I continue? I won't.
But do you think this investigation will lead somewhere? Because according to legal practitioners, they believe that they said previously that they followed this path. They've spent a sizable, amount of money on investigation and investigative committees, but it has not led to anywhere.
Sizable amount of money. What are they investigating? Are they petroleum experts? It's oversight functions. Leave Abuja, go to there. Why would that amount be sizable? Is it more than flight ticket payment? You see, this is what we are talking about. Corruption is the bane of the development of this country. For as long as every member of the Senate or every member of the House of Representatives will want to have something to be able to allow a project to go on, then we are done for as a country. Why would they spend so much money on oversight functions? Billions of dollars. Abba, please, let's say something else. It is annoying. Those refineries should be sold out. And in fact, you remember that Yaradua stopped the sales of those refineries to Otedola and Dangote in those days. They were concessioned out. So it was Yaradua that came and said, no, you can't sell national assets. And he started working towards revamping them so that they can be refining crude oil from here. So, for as long as we continue to look at our refineries as a source of making money for individuals and not making refined fuel for Nigerians to consume, then those refineries will never work.
Okay,
I'm not cursing, but that is the truth of the matter.
Let's quickly talk about this one. Now, there's a crisis rocking the Rivers State government, and it recently got messier as the State Assembly reportedly they signed an impeachment notice on Governor Fubara. And according to them, this whole thing occurred in the Assembly. It all started on Sunday night, and around 7 a.m. they said some lawmakers, they made their way into the House and they immediately signed the impeachment notice to the governor this morning.
Don't you think it is too early to do that? That governor was sworn in May. And now, what could he have done to warrant impeachment? It is about money not going around. Go and investigate very well. It is about money not going around. The settlement syndrome that we have in Nigeria. And a sensible House of Assembly will not go out to say you want to impeach a governor that is less than a year in office. Can you tell me the offense that a governor would have committed between May and now? Has he stolen money? Let them say it now. If he has stolen money, there is a process. Not that you just sit down and say you want to commence impeachment of a governor. No, we are no longer in the Obasanjo era where a governor will be impeached with 2 or 3 people sitting in the house. That nonsense should stop. Whatever it is that the governor has done, there are procedures for impeachment. They should follow all those procedures. I'm not holding brief for the governor, but people should be procedural in their decisions on the fate of a governor. A governor, the seat of a governor is not just any seat where some miscreants will just come at night and say you are impeaching him. There are procedures for all these things. When you see things like this happening and nobody is reacting, the federal government is not talking, the people that should talk are not talking, then you are weakening the democracy of this country. And it will boomerang if care is not taken. It will become a lawless situation where anybody will just go into the house and say you are impeaching a governor. Even the president can be impeached if that is allowed in any state. All those lawlessness should not be allowed. Why would you come at night to say you want to impeach a governor? If you have good grounds to impeach a governor, sit during the day. Present those grounds before everybody. Write a letter to the governor to respond. If he has not responded, let the chief judge know that these are the grounds against the governor. We have asked him to respond. He has refused to respond. And we want to impeach. Yeah, there are procedures for these things. Not that you just jump into the house, the hallowed chambers of the house at night, and you say you want to impeach a governor. That is madness. It is annoying that this kind of thing is happening in our environment today. We used to have this when Obasanjo was the president, and it is understandable. Obasanjo was a soldier who had no respect for democracy. So anything could have happened under such a man. But now we have a Democrat in charge, an experienced politician. He must not allow lawlessness under his administration.
All right, let's send this on a lighter note with Mr. and Mrs. this morning. And Mrs. says, men are so full of themselves, they treat women like second citizens.
No,
Said, what's so special about men anyway? And Mr. replied, dear, everybody rely on manpower.
Yeah, I said it all. She said it, that every woman relies on manpower, but that is the truth. But honestly, I believe that an average woman deserves respect from a man. If you want to have peace, if you want to, this morning I called my wife, I said, Mommy, she said she was excited. Either you mean it or not, she has heard you and she was excited. So you can have your peace in the house if you want to. But if you don't want to have your peace, say something stupid. You won't enjoy yourself throughout that day.
Thank you, Mr. Tinubu, for joining us this morning. And this is where we have to end. If you want to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, our WhatsApp number is also displayed on your screen. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki. Have a lovely Monday.